stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the boats passing in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home and the
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another Wednesday night here live on the Turn 3 Racing Network tonight, bringing you Racing for a Cause, the Super Late Model Division Edition. And boy, have we got a race out there for you tonight. It's the AWSC 125 live right here at Five Flags, this half-mile track, getting ready to bring you all kinds of excitement. And these guys have been battling it up here in practice. Let's see what the race is about to bring. My name is Chris, and alongside me tonight, going to be, well, the AC announcer himself, Aaron Maynard. Aaron, how are you tonight?
Doing pretty good, watching the kind of tail end of practice here. You know, no surprise, Bill Martin, one of the most dominant drivers in this series, number 2 in the points coming into today, currently atop the standings. The big surprise, though, is Andy Lambert. He's sitting number 2 on the speed charts, and that's pretty much been the story right now is Bill Martin. Of course, I picked up my first broadcasting gig with you guys a couple of weeks back, and Bill Martin was pretty dominant in that race, and he seems to be just as quick here today at Five Flag Speedway. So can anybody stop Bill Martin as he's going for 3 in a row?
Well, the guy that really needs to this week is going to be Brian Hacker. Good to see him out there recovering from the COVID, but Brian Hacker out there getting ready to try and do a little battle. He has got to put it down a really solid finish here tonight, because the gap between 1 and 2 definitely is closing in. Right now we're in the middle of, it looks like, a little bit of a driver's meeting, as there's no action on track and the engines are pretty settled down at this point. Bill Martin did win last week, so he's going to be starting in 10th spot here tonight, Aaron. It's going to be an interesting race again here for Martin, as he's got to whittle his way through 9 other competitors here tonight.
Not really. If I had to make a prediction, I don't really think it's going to be much of a challenge for him if he can keep that car out of trouble early on here at Five Flags and bide his time and, you know, play the right strategy, because he does have 1 set of tires in the pit area this week. That's a little bit different than normal here, but with the abrasiveness of this racetrack and how much it wears on the rubber on these race cars, the series got together and said you guys can have 1 extra set in the pit. So when is going to be the time to take them? Who puts them on at the right time? That'll be the key to victory here today at the AWSC 125 in the beautiful Florida region for Five Flag Speedway.
And let's take a look at the top 10. They're right there on your screen. Brian Hacker leading the way in the points. Bill Martin in 2nd spot. It's Jimmy McIntyre Jr. in 3rd. And Justin Rigsby picking up that 4th spot. Jeff Dillon 5th. Rex Hoyle AJ Hamill, Kevin Dillon, Andy Lambert, and Al Smith Jr. is in the 10th spot. Unfortunately, we got a little problem here. Al Smith Jr. in 10th in the points, and tonight's race presented by Al Smith Jr. And you know what he's doing? He's over there broadcasting a different race tonight.
Wow. That's probably going to be detrimental to his top 10 in the standings, but when the call comes in to put on a show for somebody else, sometimes you got to make the right business decision. And apparently for Al, the business decision that was proper was to put his mouth out there and run it a little bit and broadcast for somebody else.
Look, we know Al's mouth will run. There's no question about that. And these guys getting in that final bit of practice here with about 6 minutes to go in this practice session. Drivers meeting is done. They know that they do have a set of tires right around the corner from them if they so choose. They don't have to take them. And if the opportunity doesn't come, they won't. There's no way you're going to come down pit road to take 4 tires if you don't have to.
I've done a little bit of racing here at Five Flags Speedway in the virtual realm, and I think if I was crew chiefing for somebody, if there's a caution flag around lap 80, 75 to 85, come in and get tires. If there's not, then you waited too long, and if you put them on before that, you used them up too early. So I'm thinking kind of the 75 to 85 is going to be the window to put tires on, unless you spin out and flat spot your tires and need to replace them. But I'm thinking that's going to be the key right there, 75 to 85, that 10 lap window. If there's a caution, come in, put tires on. And or if 10 guys come in and put tires on at lap 60, then you're gonna have to join them, or you'll be in trouble, because the tire fall off is quite a bit here at Five Flags.
Yeah, it is. That's something to watch out for. I will definitely be keeping everybody apprised of that fall off, because you're right, Aaron, it's huge. And look, you got somebody who's running 16.2, 16.3, 16.4 versus somebody who's running 17 on old tires. Look, it doesn't take long to catch up here on a half-mile track, and that's something we're going to be watching out for. Another thing I'm watching out for, Brian Hacker, again, he really needs a good night. Last week, he had a start and park with that COVID, and he also had some computer issues, as I recall. But still, that was a devastating night here, and he needs to pick it up big time here tonight.
Yep, the big lead that he had amassed is beginning to shrink. Bill Martin's on a hot streak, and he had a little bit of issues, with the computer having COVID and himself having COVID as well. And so now he's just got to race smart. He's going to have the detriment of starting in the back, because they invert the top 10 finishers, and then so the guy that wins starts 10th, the guy that finishes 10th starts on the pole, and it sorts down. But then once you get to 11th, if you finish 11th, the next week you start 11th. So he's going to go all the way to the back, because he finished last with that starting park. So he's going to be starting from 17th on the grid.
Yeah, 17th, 18th, 19th. I don't know. We still have people joining. Matt Vade, the last guy to join. We'll see if he can get it out on track, and certainly if he can, that'll be a pretty good field here. 19 cars getting set to do battle live right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. It is the Racing for a Cause guys getting ready to get it done.
Oh yeah, Naughty Body. I see him in there if he can get out on the racetrack. I used to race with him back in, I think it was the old ASRS days. That was, still NASCAR 2003 era stuff. So, I mean, he's a pretty good runner. I've had a chance to run some dirt stuff with him, since coming back. So if he can get out there, we'll see what he can do.
I like it. We have a different nickname for him here. Once in a while, we'll call him Darth Vader. But Naughty Body, I like it.
That was totally because I totally thought that's how you said his name when we first started racing ASRS back. I mean, this was like 2004, 5, 6, 15 years ago. But then he's like, no, it's Vade. And I'm like, well, you're still Naughty Body.
I like it. I think, I actually mispronounced his name about 95% of the race, so that works for me.
Yeah, see, there you go. I've got great stuff every once in a while. It's useful.
I got another guy. I'm actually looking at him right now, the number 80 of Racing Rob. Again, I pronounce his name wrong like it's my job, and every time he tries and corrects me. And look, Rob, it's just not going to happen, buddy. Sorry to tell you.
It's easy. It's Lidl the needle. Lidl the needle. It's not hard.
But I like it. You know, I just like Lidl. I don't know. It's a problem. It's a real problem. You know, it's not a problem.
Because you want to call him Lydell because it's got lie in the name. And, you know,
it's true.
I see where you're coming from. And then Lydell, you know, they're one of the leading heat shield producers. Well, like the company Lydell, they make the heat shields that, you know, all those cars you repair that have their, you know, asbestos coated heat shields. That's what makes them.
If they really cared, they'd use the galvanized steel.
Well, yeah, of course they do now. I mean, they don't use the asbestos coated stuff anymore, but that's what it used to be.
It used to be, yeah.
Used to could, you know.
I'm going to keep my eye out on a couple of drivers here tonight. I'm going to keep my eye out on Chris Stump, who one of the better drivers out there, but I'll tell you what, he has not had a finish here. I don't think he's gone past halfway in the last 3 races we've done. So Chris Stump really in a snide. He needs to pick it up in that number 98. And then right behind him, AJ Hamill. He has been able to finish on the podium a couple of times, but last week, not so much. He got tied up into a late race incident, and that ended his night out of 3rd spot. So AJ Hamill has something to prove to himself tonight. And of course, as I was talking about earlier, Brian Hacker, who has finally found himself up in the 4th fastest speed spot here pre-race. Brian Hacker looking pretty good right now. He really needs it tonight.
It's going to be kind of tough to move those guys that are at the top of the speed charts off the top of the speed charts just because of the way that, you know, as the track ages, gets more laps on, it gets hotter, the grip level goes down, and those first 2 or 3 guys on the speed charts were, you know, from the early practice session, and as the laps get put down the racetrack, it does lose speed.
Well, good news for everybody, as all the warm-up stuff is done. We are getting ready to go to the grid. I've got a little something special here tonight. Let's go ahead and use it. Gonna put on the old grid music. It's good stuff. You know, stuff like this needs to get used more often, even in the real races. Oh wait, they do. Let's take a look at tonight's grid. On top in the pole position, going to be the number 52. It's going to be Jeff Dillon. To his outside, it's brother Kevin Dillon in the number 26. Andy Lambert in the 72 out of Milton, Vermont. Going to be starting in 3rd position. Outside row number 2, it's going to be the 85, the Attitude Esports driver of Jeff Stiles. And then it's going to be Matt Vadervade. Going to be starting his number 8. In the 5th spot, outside, the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre Jr. Misfit Motorsports Machine. In 7th spot tonight, it's going to be the 54 of Rex Hoyle. To his outside, it's Dr. Noise Racing, and we got to watch out for him. It's going to be the 39 of Bill Martin.
I'll take this one. It's Rob Lidl. He'll start next on the grid. Outside of him is going to be Mike Holtzclaw in car number 22. The number 32 for Justin Smith, and he'll be flanked to the outside by the Arts Barbershop No Longer. Car number 12 of AJ Hamill.
On Phillip in the 53, going to be starting in 13th spot. To his outside, Mark Fravert in the 44. Chris Stump, another driver out of that Empire Racing team, driving his 98, going to be starting in 15th position here tonight.
Keep an eye on the 16th starter. He is our point leader and recovering from COVID. It is Brian Hacker. The pace car has moved in. Dylan Blankenship and the rest of the field will come off of turn number 4. Green flag is in the air and we're underway here at Five Flag Speedway. 2 wide into turn number 1. Off of turn 2 down the back straightaway, the 52 Jeff Dillon. He'll ride with the top spot down into turns 3 and 4. His brother Kevin. Slipping back on the outside is Andy Lambert, number 2 in the speed charts, up to number 2 on the racetrack with a 1 lap complete. 1 lap has been complete. Andy Lambert is going for the lead down the back straightaway to the inside. The number 8 also beginning to move. That is Matt Vade. Vade in the 8 now up to 3rd as Lambert continues to challenge for the race lead.
Yeah, the race lead is decided right now. The battle right now for about the 6th spot. Oh, the 85 gets loose, goes into the wall, and he takes out the 81. Oh, big time problem here early on here at Five Flags.
One of the keys to finding your way to victory lane here at Five Flags Speedway was going to be waiting to make aggressive moves till the heat got in the tires, because this is an old abrasive racetrack and the cars slip and slide around. And it looks like Jimmy McIntyre, Mike Holtzclaw, and Thomas Killam have found that out early on in this one, as there's been some damage laid down, and we're under caution here on lap number 4 of a 125. This will make lap number 25 in the AWSC 125 here at Five Flags Speedway on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Field is lined up behind the iRacing pace car, and Jeff Dillon, the pole sitter, who's led it every step of the way, continues to show the way. Andy Lambert now will have a shot at him to the outside on the impending restart.
Now let's go back and take a peek at the replay. Let's figure out exactly what happened. We're looking at the 85. He gets loose and up into the 81. Just careens into him, no problem there. Now the 83 comes in late. The 22 gets a little piece of it, and that is what brought out caution number 1 here from Five Flags tonight.
Yeah, tough break. That's just one of those things. Cold tires. That is a product of that right there. Car gets a little bit free, overcorrect, because it gets really snappy loose, and up into the wall you go. It looks like Holtzclaw, Killam, and McIntyre still visiting pit road trying to get those cars repaired. McIntyre may be done for the day.
That was a pretty hard hit that McIntyre took, and we'll see if they're able to make it back out. Looks like Mike Holtzclaw might be bringing his machine out wounded, but still coming out. Thomas Killam as well in his 83. You can see the damage on the right front. Well, let's make it the entire front, the whole clip kind of pushed back in. Pace car lights are off, getting ready to go back under the green flag. Pace car leading them down the backstretch.
7 laps have been completed. We've had a couple of those, 3 of them to be exact, run under the yellow flag, but we're getting ready to go back to racing. Jeff Dillon will set the pace with Andy Lambert to his outside. Matt Vade right behind. And at car number 8, here they come up through the gearbox, down to the stripe. Green flag is in the air, and again off the drop of the start, Jeff Dillon times it perfectly, and he'll lead him down the back straightaway. Vade down low, trying to take second away from Andy Lambert. The 72 on the high side is going to go back to 3rd, and here comes Bill Martin, the driver, trying to rally up through the standings and get himself to the point lead. Winner of the last 2 events, bombarding his way up the bottom of the racetrack. The 39, Bill Martin, will put himself into the number 3 position now, bumping Andy Lambert back to the 4th position. Outside pole sitter Kevin Dillon settles down behind him, so it is Martin in 3rd, Lambert in 4th, and then Dillon right now riding in 5th as Jeff Dillon continues to show the way with the 8 of Matt Vade closing in. Second place is not where Vade wants to be, though, because he knows he's going to be dead in the water on the restarts. The outside lane, not the lane to use on restarts here at Five Flags Speedway. So Jeff Dillon is going to try to hold on to that race lead as long as he can to keep that preferred inside lane on the restarts. We're going to come around here off of turn number 4 and complete lap number 12 with Jeff Dillon continuing to show the way. Matt Vade right on the rear bumper in car number 8. And Martin in 3rd right now in car 39, and I don't think he's going to try too hard to move himself into that 2nd spot. I think he'll be content to ride in the number 3 position to keep that inside lane on restarts. Veterans of the iRacing League or Real Racing know that on tracks like this, the inside lane is the place you want to be, and Martin is a crafty veteran, as we've seen him march his way to the front here in the Racing for a Cause Super Late Model Division for the last 3 races. Right now he's looking to go 3 in a row. He's chasing Jeff Dillon right now. The battle for the lead is actually heating up. Dillon may be a sitting duck right now as Vade in the 8 is there and Martin is there as well. They're all kind of tiptoeing around each other, making sure not to make any contact with each other. And they're letting the heat build up in those tires. Now we're 15 laps into this one. The heat is there. Now we'll see what everybody's got as Jeff Dillon continues to try to show the way in the number 52. Vade, who was on offense momentarily, now has shifted his focus to defense as Bill Martin takes a peek to the inside down the front straightaway. The red, white, and blue, number 39 for Bill Martin, going to the runner-up spot off turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, he will set sail, trying to track down Jeff Dillon for the race lead in car 52.
Now the 39 doing everything he can to not really upset the tires, maybe looking for green flag throughout this race. 125 laps, the scheduled distance, 17 completed, and so far Bill Martin up 6 positions to that second spot. Behind him, it's Vade. Vade sitting in that 3rd position. Andy Lambert falls back into the 4th position. Kevin Dillon running in the 5th position. Remember, he started outside of our pole here tonight next to his brother, AJ Hamill, a big climber, up 6 spots, and his number 18 all the way up the 6th spot. But behind him, it is our points leader here coming into tonight. It's Brian Hacker in the number 11, looking for a good run here tonight. Maybe even better than good. He needs an outstanding race here tonight. He needs to try and hold on to that points lead.
He needs to keep pace with Bill Martin. He can't continually keep giving up points to the number 39 because Bill Martin has shown time and time again that he can win in this series at will when he wants to. He will put that car at the top of the leaderboard whenever he needs to. As you see Andy Lambert right now getting shuffled up to the top of the racetrack in the 72. That's going to move him back a couple of spots. AJ Hamill comes through. Kevin Dillon led the charge around the bottom, and right now it is a Brian Hacker, car number 11, trying to get another spot as well. So Lambert has found he's not liking his race car on that outside lane at all. Chris Stump, one of the drivers you said that needed to have a good run and keep himself out of harm's way in today's race, will come through as well on the bottom of the racetrack. And Rex Hoyle, one of the top runners in this series as well, moving his way around Andy Lambert, as Lambert, one of the top 10 point guys, shuffling back in a car number 72. So now he finds himself a chance to settle down, and he'll swap over, do the crossover move, and go back to work, trying to get back by Rex Hoyle and give that spot back to Andy Lambert. He found some daylight on the bottom of the racetrack, and he'll move himself back ahead of the 54 of Rex Hoyle.
Yeah, the bottom of the track certainly proving out to be where you want to be throughout the entire distance of this little half-mile track. The inside lane, the only place really where it's okay to pass. Now, maybe that'll change later on as the rubber gets down on the track, but here we are 25 laps in. Andy Lambert finding his way back to the inside. Meanwhile, your race leader is the 52. That's Jeff Dillon. He's being followed very closely by Bill Martin. Martin looking to try and get that top spot once again, make it 3 in a row for the number 39.
Martin in the 39 runs in the tire tracks of the 52. Now, I thought earlier Jeff Dillon may have been holding that pair of drivers behind him up, but once Bill Martin got by Matt Vade in car number 8, those two drove away from Vade in the number 8 car, and he still sits in the 3rd spot in car 8. But definitely right now Jeff Dillon's trying to set the pace that he thinks he can get that car to the checkered flag at 125 laps without coming down pit road. Bill Martin is going just fast enough to stay on his rear decklet, but I know deep down Bill Martin wants to be ahead of the 52 or behind the 8, because you don't want to be pitting in an outside lane on a restart. As we saw, Andy Lambert lost about 6 positions on a restart. Kevin Dillon, who started on the outside of the front row on the initial start, also lost 4 spots when the green flag came out. So keeping that car in a position where you're going to be in an odd spot, so you're lining up on the inside lane on restarts, is very crucial, unless you think that with the amount of cars that are here today that we're going to have some caution-free type racing. Then maybe go for it. Run whatever position your car will be in. As I say that, Bill Martin takes a peek to the inside for the race lead.
Now, Martin still taking a peek to the inside. Want to talk about Kevin Dillon for just a moment. He is sitting back, way back now, behind Vade. It looks like he's got about 4 or 5 car lengths there is the distance to try and make up to 3rd spot. As he said, he wants to be an odd car in case of a caution, but right now, Kevin Dillon getting it done. Speaking of odd numbered cars, how about 5th place runner now? Brian Hacker, he managed to get around a couple of drivers. Up the 5th spot now is Brian Hacker, and he is going to look to close down on Kevin Dillon, Matt Vade, and the rest.
Hacker in the number 11 started next to last on the grid in the first 32 laps. He's driven himself all the way up to the 5th position, and he is quietly working his way towards the front of the pack. And right now he may just have that line set. He's tossed the cast, he's caught the car in front of him, and he's just beginning to click him off as we got some smoke on the back straightaway. Looks like AJ Hamill may be in trouble in the number 18 automobile. Yes, Hamill's headed to the pit road in car 18 and retiring from the event.
Heavy damage to the left front causes the 18 to come on down pit road, and he's not even able to make it down to his stall. He's going to have to take a tow trip down and see if he can get work done. But AJ Hamill may be done. Maybe the snake bitten twice in a row for the 18 machine.
Tough break for him. You know, he top 3 finisher 2 races ago, and then it just has not gone well for him since. He was starting to make a charge up the point standings, and then bad luck 2 weeks in a row. And when you have guys running in the top of the standings right now like Brian Hacker and Bill Martin, you can't afford to have bad luck 2 weeks in a row, because those guys are just smooth and calm, and they don't have problems like that. I mean, you know, the off chance like last week that Brian Hacker was battling with COVID and had some computer issues, that was his one bad race. And I would venture to guess the way that he runs on a normal basis here in the Racing for a Cause series, that's going to be his one bad race of the season. And Bill Martin is trying to make hay when he can, and he has taken the lead away from Jeff Dillon. They had all that confusion with the AJ Hamill wreck, and Bill Martin has put himself on top of the leaderboard. And right now 38 laps have been completed. It'll be 39 coming to the stripe. Bill Martin has come from 8th on the grid to take over the race lead, and he has put some distance between himself and Jeff Dillon in that 2nd spot in the 52 automobile.
A lot of drivers didn't want to see this. The 39 up front leading the way. Jeff Dillon is, I can't say he's fading back, but doesn't seem to have exactly what it's going to take here tonight to try and catch that 39. Does anybody? We're going to have to wait and find out the answer to that one, as it's not going to be long now before Bill Martin starts running into some of that lap traffic, that slower traffic just ahead of him. Behind him, though, it is Vade Dillon. Just like that, the 52, the 8 and the 26. Jeff Dillon, watch out for him. I don't think he's done yet. He's looking for a podium finish tonight along with Vade. And there's a lot of stuff to settle out here, as we still have a lot of laps to go. This 125 lap event, 42 laps down, and Bill Martin solidly up front. That gap a little over a second right now. That may be insurmountable if we stay under green.
It's going to be 82 to go this time as they come by the stripe. 82 laps remain. 125 is the distance. And if Bill Martin has gone to the whip, he kind of was biding his time, saving the tires for the first 35 laps of this race. Maybe he knows with a 125 lap race you got to save tires for 35 laps, or maybe he's taking the gamble right now that sometime in the next 40 laps or so there'll be another caution flag and he'll have a chance to put some brand new 10-inch tires on that automobile. The Dillon boys, who started 1st and 2nd, now run 2nd and 3rd on the leaderboard. Jeff still in 2nd position after starting on the pole. 3rd is Kevin Dillon, who was back all the way as far as 6th position in that number 26 car, but he's rallied his way back by Matt Vade in car number 8. So Vade is back now to the 4th spot. 5th is the point leader, Brian Hacker. And you'd think a top 5 would be good enough, but when the number 2 point man is showing the way right now and really beginning to stretch the lead, he needs more. Brian Hacker, coming from next to last on the grid, is 5th. 6th spot, the 98 Chris Stump. You called it in the pre-race show. He's a good race car driver, but he's been plagued by bad luck the last couple of weeks, and right now he's driven himself up into that 6th position. 7th is Rex Hoyle. 3rd place starter Andy Lambert rides next on the grid, and then you have the 45 of Justin Smith, the 44 Mark Fravert. Jeff Stiles, 85, he got a little bit of damage, I believe, in that first caution flag, so not up to the speed he was, accustomed to. Colin Phillip in car number 53. Dylan Blankenship's 05 automobile. He just narrowly avoided the original crash. Then you have the 83 of Thomas Killam. Wayne McDuff, the 3rd. In the number 1, Rob Liedel. And a car number 80, still on the lead lap. Also, the 22, Mike Holtzclaw. We did document quite, so he goes a lap down right now as we're talking about it. He'll be the first car to go one lap down on the racetrack. Holtzclaw's 22, wounded early, and that lap 4 caution flag when the leaders got together. Well, they weren't the leaders, they were top 5 automobiles. Getting a little bit slicey out there. And as I said, you know, if you wait to make moves till later on into the race, once the tires have heated up, you'll be all right. And Bill Martin continues to show the way.
Now Bill Martin crosses the line. Lap number 52 is complete as we continue on here, and Holtzclaw is the only car on track. One lap down. AJ Hamill, Jimmy McIntyre Jr. both have had to retire from this race. They will not finish. AJ Hamill will take an 18th home tonight, and Jimmy McIntyre Jr. a 19th home tonight. Meanwhile, Bill Martin continues to lead the way over the Dillon brothers. Jeff and Kevin running second and third. Vade starting is in 4th spot. Brian Hacker still in that 5th spot, trying to figure things out. Can he catch him, or does he need a caution to give him a little bit of help? Right now, Stump riding that back bumper of the 11. Chris Stump not wiggling the tires, not wiggling the car. He is running solid right now, giving Brian Hacker a handful as Hacker looks up in the mirror and sees nothing but the 98.
All over his rear bumper. This right now may be actually a little bit of tire conservation mode that these guys have gone into, because if you push it and try to track down Bill Martin and you never get a caution flag and you just drive hard, eventually these cars are like driving off the edge of a cliff. You run out of grip and then you just sliding around, and if the caution never comes, then you may end up going 2 or 3 laps down in the last 25, 30 laps of this race if you use too much tire. Where Bill Martin is showing the way, he can drive as hard as he feels he needs to. These guys have to catch him. So you kind of either have to conserve tires if there's not going to be a yellow, and since we've only had one so far, I wouldn't be hedging my bet thinking, yeah, we're definitely going to have at least 2 or 3 more yellows before this race is over, because, we're, almost to halfway through. We're just shy of the halfway mark, and there's only been 1 yellow. So, I mean, you may be talking lap 90, lap 100 before we get a second caution flag, if we get a second caution flag. So you kind of have to play smart, and tire conservation is definitely a strategy that guys running in the 3rd and 4th, 5th positions can go into. If you can keep yourself on the lead lap, as we've got Wayne McDuff on pit road in car 1, so his day not going well. He'll join AJ Hamill and Jimmy McIntyre on pit road. Of course, Hamill and McIntyre out of the race. We'll see if McDuff can make repairs, or maybe he was driving too hard and had that cliff that I was talking about. You drive that car off the edge of the cliff. Once you lose grip, it is really hard, especially in the super late models. They don't have a lot of weight to hold them down, so they slide around. And Five Flags is an old abrasive racetrack. There is not a lot of grip to it. It wears tires quickly.
Yeah, speaking of sliding around quite a bit, right now the 52 of Jeff Dillon, his brother Kevin going to try and make him pay. He drops down to the inside on the back stretch, and around he goes. No challenge for the 52 as the 26 slips on by.
Oh, I tell you what, that was almost no Thanksgiving next year for these guys either, because you're not going to want to have Thanksgiving dinner with your brother that took you out. Trust me, I know, I've been there. But right there, they just barely kept themselves straight, and their little dice up right has allowed the 8 of Matt Vade to catch in on them. So now the early race leader Jeff Dillon has slid back to 3rd and maybe 4th, because here comes the 8 car. He's in hot pursuit. He's closed that. It was 5 or 6 car lengths before they started dicing it up for the number 2 position. And now, as you can see on the screen, the 8 Matt Vade is on the rear bumper, as another car going a lap down up on the outside. That's Lidl in the 80. Lidl the Needle going a lap down to those guys. He's already been lapped by Bill Martin a number of laps ago, as he is a huge lead in that number 39 car.
Yeah, 3.6 seconds is the lead. Bill Martin over Kevin Dillon, and I'm watching Brian Hacker, as it seems like that tire strategy might be starting to pay off. He's starting to close in on Matt Vade. Another guy starting to do that as well. It's Chris Stump. He's been on the back bumper of Brian Hacker for probably the last 35 laps, and it is working out for those 2 drivers as they are starting to close in on the top 3 or 4.
they've got to be on the same strategy, because there are a couple of drivers that had to come from deep in the field in this one. So you don't have to talk about the strategy. You just know. If you know somebody's good in your series, no matter what form of auto racing you're in, if you're as fast as they are and you see them doing a certain thing, you kind of have to, as a veteran, think, if that guy's going this speed, even though we could go faster than this right now, he's got to be doing that for a reason. And when you are a point leader, you're pretty good chance that you're doing it for a reason, as Brian Hacker is showing us right now. He is closing in on those guys battling for second, third, and fourth. He's trying to make that a battle. And Stump runs right behind him in that 98 car going, well, I think if this is the strategy we're going to have, then, obviously Brian's using it for a reason. We've seen him be successful on this series. Up to this point, he's leading the points. Maybe I'll just follow him and see what he's doing and check out the way that he runs a race, and maybe that'll help me advance my program down the way. As we've got 55 laps to go. That's lap 70 right now that we're working on. It's 70 laps are complete, and Stump kicked it sideways off turn 2 that time. He may be trying to pedal a little bit and get ahead of that number 11. He may smell caution flag coming soon, and he knows he's in that 6th position. And we are closing in on that window that I talked about, when it was going to be appropriate to take tires or not take tires. And we are just about to the beginning of it. 75 to 85 is when I said, if there's a caution, then come for tires. If not, then you may just be wasting your tires.
A lot of experience between these two drivers, Brian Hacker, Chris Stump. Brian Hacker, a very formidable sim driver. Chris Stump, very formidable in the sim world, but also a real-life competitor at one time, a former ASA driver. Chris Stump looking to try and get his winning ways back in form. It's been a little while, and we're waiting to see him kind of hit his stride once again. Right now, Chris Stump running in that 6th spot, following Brian Hacker. Hacker edging ever so closer to Matt Vade for that 4th spot, and that gap is really starting to close down now as they are working the backstretch together. Vade going into turn 3, and now Hacker into turn 3, so that gap very much closing in. But let's take a peek at the gap from our race leader back to 2nd spot, Kevin Dillon, as it continues to grow. 3.78 seconds right now.
Bill Martin and that beautiful red, white, and blue number 39, looking for 3 wins in a row. And right now, barring internet connection problems or getting caught up in a crash of some sort, it looks like it's going to be the Bill Martin show, as it has been for the last 2 weeks here in the Racing for a Cause series. There's 2nd place, Dylan, in the number 26. He was the outside pole sitter. That means he started in 2nd. He's still running in 2nd. He's been as low as 6th in this race, though. He's rebounded his way back up to that runner-up position. Right behind him is the pole sitter, Jeff Dillon. He's running in 3rd. Vade in the number 8 is 4th. 5th is the driver that started next to last on the grid. He started on the outside of row number 8. That is the number 11 of Brian Hacker. Hacker in the 11, though, he may be faster, and he knows he's faster, but when you're faster and you're in a late model race, a super late model race here at Five Flags, just because you're 2/10 faster than the guy, you can't use the 2/10 all at once. You will kill the tires into this type of car, and it is a very easy thing to do. You need to have some discipline, and you can see right now, Hacker in the number 11 is using that discipline, marching his way towards the front. He's not overdriving the corners, sliding up the racetrack, getting sideways off on exit. He is pointing that car where it needs to be, rolling back into the gas, saving tires, and now that is paying its dividends, because he has gotten to the rear bumper of Vade in that number 8, and we'll see how long it takes him to find his way around Vade in the number 8 car, and if he can drive his way up farther than Matt Vade. Actually, Vade right there drove it in deep a little bit and slid up and opened up the inside lane, and that is going to be all that Brian Hacker needs. Oh, he couldn't keep it in deep enough, though. Hacker knows you can't overdrive these race cars. You will wear those tires out in a hurry, and he let Vade hang on to that number 4 position. He'll stay in 5th, working the back bumper of the number 8 car as they go down the back straightaway here on lap 82. Coming off turn 4 right now is the leader. He just clicked off lap 83 as he thundered by us here on the front straightaway. Hacker, though, that's the battle. 3rd, 4th, 5th, with Stump in the 98 and 6th. Those guys right there all under a blanket. They're a couple of car lengths back from the 2nd place runner, Kevin Dillon, in the 26. Bill Martin leads in the 39, and he's working his way into some lap traffic. So, yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I believe now it was like 3 weeks ago. It was back before the Thanksgiving break. Martin almost lost a race in lap traffic. He's lapping past Colin Phillips, number 53. And yes, it's Colin Phillip and then the apostrophe S to show the ownership. No, I don't think his last name isn't what it is. Puts him a lap down. And now he'll work on the back bumper of the 44. That's Mark Fravert in the 44. Final car on the lead lap, and he right now is doing a caution flag dance. Just let us have a yellow and re-rack this field. I've gone 80 laps under green, and now I'm going to lose it. And he'll go a lap down, and it looks like the 53 of Phillips going to come right up the inside lane and try to move himself ahead of position as the leader has checked out on the field. Battle right now, that's side by side between a couple of lap cars. You can see the 83 of Thomas Killiam and the 44 of Fravert running behind the race leader Bill Martin, who is just continuing to destroy the field. And the 39, huge lead, almost up to 5 seconds, not quite 5-second lead for Bill Martin.
Oh, he's touching it right now. That 5-second gap, it has been crossed, and it's dropping down to 4.99, but it's hovering right at that 5-second mark. Kevin Dillon sits in that second spot with his brother Jeff right behind him. Jeff Dillon, our pole sitter tonight, eventually did fall to his brother, but now Dillon may have been saving some tires as he really is trying to climb into the back seat of that number 26, Matt Vade right there, along with Brian Hacker, Chris Stump, and then just a little further back, all by lonesome, the 54 of Rex Hoyle.
Hoyle runs just in front of 8th place Andy Lambert, the number 72. We saw him get up as high as 2nd place in that 72 car earlier today, but he was pinned on the outside on a restart, or the only restart actually. He was pinned to the outside there, and right now he's got a little bit of a gap between himself and going a lap down as Bill Martin's over a straightaway behind him. But Lambert's going to be thinking, man, I could use a caution as well. Here's the deal. We're 92 laps into this thing. That means we're closing in on 30 to go. Once we hit 30 to go, if you're the leader, Bill Martin, you cannot pit when the yellow flag comes out. Because if you pit and nobody else does, you'll never get back through the traffic. This right now, like I said, we've gone past that window of when you can pit if you're the leader. 75 to 85 gives you 40 laps to get back up through it, and you know that's 2 laps a car to get yourself back to the front of the pack. But now as the laps click off, and right now when Martin gets back around there, it's going to be 30 to go. 30 laps remain right now. You are running out of time if you're going to pit. Now if Martin comes down pit road, presumably everybody would follow him if he does, but I'm telling you, there's some smart cats in this racing for a cause series of super late model drivers, and I'm telling you, if Martin came down pit road, I wouldn't put it past those Dillon boys to stay out. And if the Dillon boys stay out and Martin goes down pit road 3rd, 4th, 5th, hey, you know what, we're not going to lose spots to the guys that stayed out. I don't know, this is turning out to be I kind of want to see caution right now to see what everyone makes for decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just to see the chess match that would be happening out there on track, and I'll tell you, there is plenty happening out there on track right now. It's positions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all battling it out right now on the backstretch going into turn number 3. Kevin Dillon has a bit of an advantage over brother Jeff, and right behind Jeff, it's a hornet's nest. Vade, Hacker, Stump, all trying to get there, all trying to take away a spot, but that bottom line being secured by Jeff Dillon right now in the 52, heading into turn 3 and out of turn 4. He is running that line perfect right now. The 52 acting like a little bit of a block right now. You got to think some of these cars behind him might be just a little bit quicker.
So what happened right there is Kevin caught that lap car perfect. He slid by the lap car in the middle of the corner, which didn't affect him on corner exit. But as Jeff came up off of turn number 2 to go down the back straightaway, lap car in the outside lane, you can't wash that car all the way up to the top of the track. That takes your momentum away. Now, Vade couldn't drive over him because, the lap car is slow in the outside lane, so you're not going to go to the outside lane and leave the door open for Brian Hacker in the 11, and basically that's what it did. And it gave Kevin Dillon a little bit of a buffer. We got 25 laps to go for Bill Martin. who is almost at a 6-second lead. He is at a 6-second lead in that number 30. Oh, and Vade slides up the racetrack. He was racing hard with Jeff Dillon. The 8 car slides up the track. He loses at least 1 spot, if not more. Nope, he'll get it right down to the line on the bottom of the racetrack behind Hacker into the number 11. Hacker, the point leader, has got himself up to 4th, and now he's having to be a little bit aggressive on defense, trying to hold off Vade. Stump almost tossed the car away right there with 23 to go, and that's going to give Vade a little bit of breathing room on his rear bumper as there was a big wiggle out of that number 98 car. Bill Martin leads. He doesn't have to worry about anybody putting any pressure on him right now, as the Dillon boys have now begun to square up again for that battle for the 2nd spot. Kevin had got himself a bit of an advantage when they caught lap cars at different portions of the racetrack, and he had driven away by 3 or 4 car lengths. And now Jeff Dillon in the 53 has gotten right back to his rear bumper. So they came off the front row after finishing 9th and 10th in the last outing here in the Racing for a Cause Super Late Model Series. They're running 2nd and 3rd right now, hanging on to those final spots on the podium as the point leader, Brian Hacker, trying to recover from COVID a week ago, which kept him to just a starting park last Wednesday night. Trying to track down that 3rd position, the 52. Jeff Dillon has it.
Oh, the 53, a little bit loose. Holds it down to the inside, brings it down pit road. He doesn't want to bring out the caution. Good job out of Colin Phillip bringing it down pit road. Keeps this track under green, and we can see all of the little pebbles through the corners. This track is rubbered up and ready to go. And right now, it's just a matter of finding your way to the inside. Brian Hacker looking for a podium finish. Has to get around Jeff Dillon in the 52 to do it. Down the back stretch they go. And it looks like Hacker got a little bit loose coming off in turn 2. Now pushes up a little bit and brings it back down to the inside. The 11 trying everything he can to try and make it to the podium. And that is exactly what he needs tonight. Cannot finish worse than where he is right now.
Bill Martin is setting the pace in that number 39 car. We're having a chess match right now, and he's making the first move. He's the guy on offense. Well, I'm going to go to the lead. He's trying to catch the number 11 of Brian Hacker in the points. Hacker knows he needs to get as close to 2nd place, if not 2nd place, as he can. The problem is he's got the Dillon boys stacked up between himself and that runner-up position. Kevin in the 26 doing a pretty good job trying to navigate his way through lap traffic. He has to go inside outside that time as we got a car slow. I believe that to be, I can't read the numbers on it. That is the 83 car. Thomas Killam in trouble in the 83. Almost. Whoa, Mike Holtzclaw. I thought that was Hacker going way high, but it was Mike Holtzclaw giving those guys plenty of room. And hey, Matt Vade is back into this thing. Vade trying the outside-inside crossover move, but Brian Hacker blocked it. I wouldn't go ahead and award 4th place to Brian Hacker, the point leader. Matt Vade wants that spot back, and Chris Stump in the 98 is right there with him as well. Good battling going on right now. The battle for 2nd has settled down. The battle for 4th has picked up. Brian Hacker in the 11, as documented, started next to last on the grid today after starting and parking a week ago, and he's got himself up to 4th. And I think, unfortunately, it was just one more caution. An opportunity to put new tires on was going to be what he needed after having to push that car hard early on to get out of the back of the pack, get out of the harm's way, so to speak, and get up towards the front of the pack. And he used it up right now, and he's paying the price here in the final 10 laps, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier when I said you got to watch your tire wear. This is it right now. This is when these cars are going to be sliding around. 10 to go for these drivers. There was 5 miles if you wanted to get down to it, which you wouldn't think, hey, 5-minute drive down the interstate, but here at Five Flag Speedway, it's going to feel like 5 hours because there is 0 grip left in these tires. These guys are skating these cars around, trying to hold on and also pass each other. As Kevin Dillon is again caught a lap car, goes to the inside. He'll clear that lap car through the center of the corner, and again, 2nd time they've done this. You know, 2nd chorus, same verse. Again, the 52 of Jeff Dillon can't widen that car out all the way down the straightaway, has to keep it pinned down, and again, loses ground to his brother, who hangs on to that 2nd spot. Brian Hacker in the 11, another driver that's got some breathing room from help of that lap traffic as he caught the car through the center of the corner, and Vade had to keep that car pinned down. Hacker in the 11 is trying to close back in, trying to get into that third spot. Can't quite make the headway he needs, though, because we've only got 6 laps to go for Bill Martin in the 39. Martin has led it, almost since the drop of the green flag. I mean, he started 8th on the grid. It didn't take him long to get to the front, did it?
No, about 35, 36 laps or so. Bill Martin made his way up to the front. Now he sees 5 fingers outstretched from our flagman out there tonight. The 39 working the turn number 3, turn number 4. Now he's right behind the 72 of Andy Lambert. Lambert not having the race that we thought he was going to have, second quickest in practice, but not translating out here during the race. 4 laps to go as Bill Martin just brings it on down into turns 3 and 4. A little bit of a blink out of the 72. No big deal for our race leader. 3 laps to go for the 39.
Bill Martin has got the thing clicked into cruise control right now. He's just going to ride the rear bumper of that 72 car, if I had to guess, until the checkered flag comes out. He's going to come up to the popsicle sticks right now as he comes off the 4th corner. It is 2 laps to go for Bill Martin, looking for 3 in a row. He is 1 mile away from 3 straight victories and a march towards the point lead that kind of is unprecedented. White flag ready to fly off turn 4.
Bill Martin sends it off into turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch for the final time. Less than a half a mile to go, and he's starting to slow it down just a little bit, realizing he has a huge lead. He's going to relax it through turns 3 and 4. The flagman starts waving that checkered flag. It's another win for Bill Martin.
Martin takes his 3rd in a row, and how about those Dillon brothers coming home in a 2nd and a 3rd position? Great run for them off the front row after finishing, 9th and 10th last outing. They come home in 2nd and 3rd. Bill Martin will take down the celebrations. And you got to give a call out to the point leader, Brian Hacker. We don't know officially if he's going to hang on to the point lead. We'll have to wait till that's all tallied up at the end of the day. But Hacker comes from next to last on the grid to the 4th position, and Matt Vade rounds out the top 5 in car 8 as the top 3 drivers make their way down into victory lane. And Brian Hacker goes by and waves to Bill Martin, gives him the thumbs up, I would assume, on the drive-through.
Absolutely. We're going to be right back live on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been a heck of a race, and we saw Bill Martin take it away once again. We're going to be right back, setting up some post-race interviews live right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got him 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaw.
And we are back live here as it looks like we are missing our second place finisher so far, but Aaron had a chance to talk to Jeff Dillon in the number 52.
Jeff, pretty good run for you tonight. The Dillon boys started on the front row. You guys, stayed within the top three. Third place finish, pretty good run after coming home with a 10th place finish last outing. That gets you guys the 9th and 10th. Come home third place is pretty good run for you.
Yeah, I'm happy with the race went. Of course, still disappointed to be 6 seconds back off of Bill. He's flying, but I'm so happy to finally have a decent run and not taking one out and knock the wall down a few times. So I'm happy with it.
So I got a strategy question for you. At what point in time did you go into tire conservation mode? Were you saving tires the whole race, or was there a certain point in time where you were like, oh, I may need to save some tires to the end of this thing?
Once Bill passed me, I was trying to run pretty hard before then, and I was planning on there being a caution at some point. So I was like, I'll run pretty hard and wait for that to happen, and it never did. So once Bill got past me and Kevin got by me, I'm like, all right, I got to start taking care of my tires. I saw Brian and Chris start catching us too, and Matt was all over me. So I knew I was in a little bit of trouble there. So I slowed the pace down a little bit.
Well, you did a great job coming home with a third place finish, and we're still waiting on Kevin for that second place interview, but apparently he's playing hard to get with us.
That's right. I can interview with him. Yeah, I'm happy I finished second. My decals by Dylan, 26 Ford. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for putting a show, and Andy and all the other admins. It's a lot of fun racing you guys over at RFC.
Well, that's something you've probably never done in the real world. We've had one driver interview as two, Aaron, but that does leave us with just one guy to go.
And he is the driver that has picked himself up 3 in a row in the Racing for a Cause series. A driver of the number 39. It is a Bill Martin. Bill, congratulations. A beautiful performance here at Five Flag Speedway. You are just the class of the field right now. You've got it all going your direction.
Thanks. It did go pretty well. Something about the race. Something, it went well. I don't know what to say. It was really about tire conservation. A lot of guys were going in a little deeper than they should. This track's really abrasive, and it catches up with you if you're not really paying attention to it. And I tried really hard to pay attention to it. This is supposed to be my second race in the motion rig, and it was working great in practice. And about 10 or 15 laps into the race, I realized that it had stopped moving. And then I understood why. Suddenly the game got much easier to play. So the motion thing has been throwing me around, and it's a little hindering. And I was like, man, this is going pretty good. I'm actually getting this motion rig down. And then, yeah, I realized this thing ain't even moving. Something went wrong.
So now you've got a whole bunch of diagnostic work to do to figure out why it's no longer working.
I think it's because before we started, I was messing around in other windows and probably screwed it up. I won't find out till I restart. I didn't want to take the car off the field in case you needed a beautiful picture of the three of us, or apparently just the two of us on the front stretch.
Yeah, Kevin skipped out. You were pretty patient. You waited till lap 35 to get to the lead. Was there ever a point in time in this race where you didn't think you had the car to beat?
I figured it would be harder to pass. And I think at the beginning, everybody was just playing it safe regardless because it was such a long time and it could have gone green, which it almost completely did, honestly. So, I mean, it's smart thinking. And so my idea was to stay somewhat close to Jeff and just sort of ride it out. But there's just an opening, so I took it. And as I had anticipated, as soon as I got the lead, I started driving harder than I needed to, which is why I got the lead that I did. So say there are no tires and then we went back to green, it'd be like the race that I had last week on Monday, where I went from second to like sixth because I had torched the tires. So just not having a yellow flag late in the run certainly helped make me look a lot better than perhaps I was deserving.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. He is the winner. It is 3 wins in a row for Bill Martin. He bests Kevin Dillon and Jeff Dillon in the top 3 positions here at Five Flags Speedway in the AWSC 125. Let's go back to Chris Legue.
And want to thank Al Smith Jr. Unfortunately, not able to join us here tonight as he is broadcasting and looks like he's finishing up right now, so can't bother him. But definitely a big thank you to Al Smith Jr. supplying us with tonight's race. We really do appreciate it. Aaron, I want to thank you for joining us up in the booth here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Next week, we are off the championship race 2 weeks from tonight, and it is going to be a barn burner. Brian Hacker, Bill Martin. The scores have not been settled yet, and we were going to do that in just 2 weeks from tonight, live right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. I want to thank you once again, and we will see you next time.